Hey folks, welcome back to another video. It's a bit grim out there today. It was brightening up a minute ago, but it's absolutely belting it down again now. It's like normal service has been resumed. We had such a good period of that like solid weather, didn't we, where it's flipping ace. And now it's a bit of a standard Welsh summer, but can't complain. That's why it's all nice and green and lush outside, isn't it? Today's video, because it's grim, I'm going to stay indoors, going to nip upstairs and do a little chat about like the footwear that we use as like mountain leader type people, mountaineering instructor type people, because often it can seem like massive overkill. We often wear these like mountaineering boots that take crampons and all this kind of stuff, even though it's like in inverted commas summer conditions like it is today, but non-snow and ice stuff, you know. And we talk about this on ML courses. But I thought it was worth a mention. It's something to do when it's dry, because I just don't want to get wet, basically. I got grief the other day for not wearing a helmet, and I am going up the stairs, so you know, safety first. Danger never takes a day off and all that, so let's just adjust this. I haven't pre-done that. I'll get grief now for putting a helmet over a cap, but you know, grief, comments are comments, all comments are good comments. So up the stairs and into the loft for today's chat. Up there, I don't know why I'm spinning the camera around quite so much, just wandering up there. Got to go up the ladder of doom. I have to do these silly things on YouTube. I'd love to say I was the first take of that, but it wasn't. I'll take my helmet off now, but I'm going to be careful because I'm right next to the drop of the attic exit. I don't want to flip and fall down there. Welcome to my little boot store. There's one pair of boots missing actually. I'm not sure where they are. Must be downstairs somewhere. A pair of Scarpas that they just don't fit me. Key to good boots is that they fit, and those things are not even close to fitting me. I wish I'd never bought them, but they were well cheap. I use them for dog walking and they are massive overkill for that. I'm not going to go through like every pair of boots. I just want to talk fairly generically about a couple of things. These kind of boots, this is like what I would call a pretty standard mountain leader, mountaineering instructor type boot, okay? A Sportiva, Trango, something, there's too many words in their title. The other kind of thing that we've got is like at the opposite end of the spectrum, which is trainers, and I wear these a lot, right? But look at the sole of them. The other pair I've got up here of trainers, now they're a bit worn out, these ones, but these are Adidas Terex trainers. Can't buy them anymore, sadly. I say sadly because they're flipping great. The sole is a bit of a combo on those ones, and some shoes that you buy have that bit at the front that is nice and smooth for sticking on rock, but then proper tread at the back, and that's important to me, that, right? So I might wear these in the mountains. These things, no, I don't. These are just for cutting around crags and stuff, or you know, walking the dog, whatever it might be. Crag wear, great. Actual mountain stuff, no, not for me. Why do I like this kind of stuff? It's light. If you've watched other videos of mine, then you'll know I like light stuff. And shoes are a really important one, boots or whatever, because every single step you're lifting them up. So this really makes quite a difference, I reckon. They're not waterproof or anything like that, these ones. They're like I say, very light, very meshy, super sticky at the front because they're stealth rubber, same as 510, because Adidas own 510 these days. But I like the fact they got proper tread on the back because it grips a bit better. Not on the rocky stuff. I'm concerned about when I'm coming down and it's that grassy, turfy kind of stuff. But they don't grip that well on that kind of thing. You know, not that aggressive, are they? So when do I use these? I use these on nice dry days because I don't get wet feet, but also it's on that scrambly kind of terrain. So think of stuff like the North Ridge of Trivan, where you're not really touching turf all day, really, on most of the routes. Let's say you go up the North Ridge, it's rock. You come down the South Ridge, more rock. You get to the little col there, maybe you turn right to come down to Buchlwyd, and it's a bit of a path there as well. So you really are on rocky stuff of some variety all day long. Flipping great for that. I absolutely love these for a rocky day. Now if I'm going to have a real chance of going through boggy terrain and stuff like that, I'm just talking like flat boggy terrain, I'm not going to get wet. I'm not going to wear these because I'm just going to get wet feet. Oh, I don't like having wet feet, funnily enough. So I put those to one side. So then something like this might come into play. Now this is massively overkill, isn't it, for boggy terrain? They're Gore-Tex lined, they're nice and high, got that rubber band around them as well. So I'm going to keep dry feet. They have their breaking point, of course. All boots only have a sort of a finite lifespan. But I will, to a point, keep dry feet. So that's great. That's a big plus. So if I am on boggy terrain, I am going to wear boots, right? But why am I wearing such stiff boots? Because these, you can bend them a bit. They do take a cramp on. They're sort of B1.5 maybe. So is that going to be uncomfortable? Well, partly no, because I've just worn these boots or similar boots for years and years and years and years. Actually, this model for years and years and years, because they just work well for my feet. They fit really well. Stiff boots can be really good for rocky stuff. Because they are stiff, you can put the edge on a bit of rock and it stays there. The rubber on these is pretty soft. They don't last that long, so it still grips really well. Not as well as something like those trainers, but pretty well. But the stiffness means you can kind of climb in a slightly different way, so less smeary, more edging. So that's great. That's a really good reason for wearing boots. I'm not talking about winter stuff, so I'm not concerned about their cramp-on ability and stuff like that. The biggest thing for me of why I say mountain leader type people should wear stiffer boots than you kind of think is really necessary is because in the UK we spend a lot of time on some pretty crappy terrain. I've said that it's raining outside. We've got a lot of terrain that is turfy, damp, soft. When you're on that kind of terrain in trainers, just going to the other extreme, you're just not getting any grip. You can't kick your feet in, you can't dig your heel in and stuff like that, and it becomes pretty flipping slippy and desperate to stay on your feet and not on your butt. A boot like this, you can turn into pretend you're winter mountaineering, and you can kick the side of the sole if you're traversing across. You can kick that into the slope. When you're coming down, you can bang the heel into it, and it's the same as walking in the snow. You're kicking your own mini ledge each step, so it gives you more security. So I'm talking about mountain leaders, but it's applicable to anyone, whether it's a qualification or not. If you're on that terrain a lot, it's worth thinking about having boots that potentially seem like massive overkill. Can't really see completely what's on here, apart from my ice axes to show that I did used to do a lot of winter mountaineering and stuff like that, and I will do some more, but Spain is too enticing. So we've talked about those trainers. These are just a different type of trainer. Another pair of boots. These are even stiffer actually, proper sole on them. They're well dead now. The Gore-Tex lining died long ago, but stiff. I wore these loads. Brilliant boots. These ones, Sportiva, are more for winter because they're a little bit insulated and they've got this gaiter thing. Gaiters are great for keeping like the snow out as well as water and stuff like that. They also keep scree out, so actually there are quite a few boots these days that are a bit less stiff than this but still come with that gaiter. It's a really good idea actually. I'm a big fan of that. I flipping love these boots. How they're so warm and so light and stiff, I have no idea. Brilliant. Lastly, just on this pile, there's another pair of Trangos, Sportiva Trangos, that are heavier weight than these ones and stiffer. I just don't wear these very often because they're somewhere in between that and that really. But what you'll notice is there's no middle ground boots. I haven't got those kind of boots that are almost like trainers really, because they're in a middle ground. They're just not serving a massive purpose for me in a mountainous area. Now if I lived in somewhere like Dartmoor, where it's really boggy and wet a lot of the time, but it's not steep slopes that are sketchy and stuff like that, where I want that stiff sole to kick into the turf, then maybe I'd have that middle ground where I'm getting the advantage of having a boot and a waterproof lining, dry feet, but I don't need the weight and those stiff edges. So they are more comfortable, softer shoes, boots, they are more comfortable. But around here, I just don't really see the point in them, to be honest. It's not that they're any cheaper particularly or anything like that. So that is it for me. My mountain footwear is either something along the lines of that or something along the lines of that. And like I said, I'm really sad they don't make those anymore because I'm really struggling to find a comparable trainer. So if you know any, let me know. I hope that was useful. I know it's a bit waffly, but I do love these really stiff boots. I think they're safer. That's the end result of wearing those stiff boots, is I think you will be safer. They do take a little bit of getting used to if you haven't worn them a lot, so you might find yourself kind of feeling a little bit cumbersome to start with, but you know, a day out in those, and you just won't even, you know, realise you're wearing anything different. To be honest, worth thinking about. Please do fire away with any questions. As always, I'm more than happy to answer those as best I can. You know the score. You also know the score about finding us on Instagram, following us on there, find us on Facebook, follow us on there. It's massively appreciated. I know I say it every time. Click the like button, smash the subscribe button. Once again, thanks very much for watching. More videos coming up very soon.